Okay folks, I'm going to try to explain your run test a wee bit more. So if you have your run test in front of you, it might be easier to scan your eyes through it and interpret what I'm saying in terms of this report to your own report. So the top bit is just name and age and stuff, which is pretty straightforward. Second section is all to do with body composition. Okay, so height, body mass, which is your weight, and then BMI. So BMI, what does this figure mean? It is just a general health indicator based upon your body fat and your size and your height. These are normal figures, okay? If you're slightly over, you'll be sitting 25 to 30, and if you're obese, you're going to be 30 and above, okay? So try not to be too negative on yourself with regards to this. All I would say is use this data to decide and make decisions about what you have to do in terms of your own body composition and health. So, you know, you're all running, which is good. You may need to focus, if this is high, on more aerobic green zone training and blue zone training, which you'll see below in your report, in order to burn more fat. Okay, so if you're in the running for health reasons, then you want to be thinking blue and green, and that'll reduce that figure down. Alright, so hopefully that'll give you some guidance. If you're in around the normal zone, that's pretty cool, you're doing a great job. Now, how to help you in terms of your nutrition side of things. You guys in your report will see BMR, and the one that you want to look at is this second one, which is the amount of calories you would normally eat a day to maintain body weight. Okay, and this is based upon what you have told me of you're doing 3 to 5 training days per week. If you're doing less than that, this figure is lower, and if you're doing more than that, this figure is higher. But based on 3 to 5 days a week, Francie here needs 2,800 calories just to maintain weight. If he wants to lose weight, he needs to be eating 500 calories less a day. Okay, so this is your daily rate. He needs to be eating 500 calories less a day. Now that's only one aspect. There's such things of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats as a mix. But look, the first thing you need to do, you need to reduce your calories. However, if you want, Francie wanted to put on weight and put on muscle, then he would need to add on 500 calories to that 2,800 figure. Alright, so that's just to try to help you in terms of linking in with this obesity side of things. One is nutrition, and the second one is then train in the blue and green zones if your focus is on health. I'm going to move on then to the exercise element. So I'm just going to skip this for now because it's all represented in the chart, and I'll try to explain this chart for you. Okay, so in terms of your training, most people at an amateur level will go out and just run hard, okay, because you know you don't have much time in your hands, and you want to put in a training session and you want to feel good afterwards. So you tend to end up going in around here, training hard in this yellow zone. But if you want to train effectively and you want to improve your performance and you want to improve your health as well, you need to actually train in all these zones. You need to have a time when you're training blue, a time when you're training green, a time when you're training yellow, and a time when you train red. Okay, and the mix of that different training will actually improve your health, and it will also improve your run times. Because in running to improve your performance, you need to be pushing this LTP figure to the right, and you want to also be pulling it to the right, so it's a push and pull. And the same with this maximal aerobic speed figure, which is going to be your VO2 max, as close as we can get it without doing a gas test in the lab and a blood test sample. But this is roughly where your VO2 max is, and we want to push that up as well, and we want to pull that up, and we also want to push it up. Okay, so these two figures here are really critical for performance. Now, in terms of training and how you work this in your training, okay, if you want to do a recovery day or you want to burn fat, you want to be thinking of training in this blue zone. And I've made that very easy for you from a heart rate point of view, which is my blue is 8.5 kilometers an hour, which is this figure. well actually I'll bring it down here folks to this bottom one, the training zone recommendations. 8.5 kilometres an hour. And in order to do that, if I have my iPhone watch, my Polo watch, or whatever you're using as a heart rate monitor, I need to keep my heart rate below 140. Now for some people that may be just a walk, and that's where you are, that's your recovery. Go for a walk, go for a really low walk. If you can go to slow jog, and keep it below that level, that's really good. The problem is for an amateur running, that's really slow, it's really boring, and you don't think you're getting any benefit out of that. Now look, that's the type of session you would do after the hardest training session you would do in a week. Or if you just want to burn fat and you just want to keep healthy, that's a good walk. Go out and do lots of walking. You'll burn fat, you'll get that BMI down, and you'll get your body fat down. Okay, so that is blue zone training. Green zone training is aerobic fitness. Okay, so we want to build and get our lungs stronger and our heart stronger. You want to train in the green zone. Okay, and green zone is below, for me, 10 kilometers an hour. And again, I've made that easy for you guys by going 10 kilometers an hour. I want to stay below 162 beats a minute, or try to keep between 140 and 162 beats a minute. I'm increasing my heart, I'm increasing my lungs in terms of size, in terms of function and efficiency, and that's all really good. Again, that tends to be a long, slow distance continuous run, or a long, slow tempo, or you could be your negatives where you would go and say 20 minutes where you're building up and then 20 minutes where you're building down. But you're just keeping, the start you're starting 140, 20 minutes in you're hitting 162, and then the last 20 minutes you bring it back to 140. That is good, long, slow aerobic training. And you need to do that at some stage during the week. That's very, very important. You need to build the base. Now, for those ones interested in the performance, and really in the performance, you need to be hitting your yellow zone or your LTP. Okay, so people will have heard of anaerobic threshold training. That is in around this LTP figure or slightly above, and it's hard. It's your RPE of 11 or in round 14. Okay, and it starts to get sticky and ugly. Now we really want to push that on. Really want to push that on as high as we can, and your run times will go faster. So this is your 5k. This is what you would tend to train at a hard session. And again, I've linked it to your heart rate. You want to be sitting, if it's a 30-minute session, you want to be sitting at 162 for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. You can probably push that out to an hour. Alright. If you want to go slightly above it, you can go 162, bring it up to 165 and bring it back again. Your heart rate is all individual, and that's the test. You will see that figure there. Okay, and that for me is about 10 kilometers an hour if you want to work off pace. Finally then, this MAS figure is your VO2 max, and this would be your speed work, your speed endurance, so your 1 minute, 2 minute intervals, or maybe in 3 minute intervals. And in order to do that, I need to get my heart rate over 162, or I need to be running. I actually need to be running over 13 kilometers an hour. That's a mistake in my report. Okay, so I need to be running at 13 kilometers an hour. So that is the speed element, and this is me pulling this figure up. I want to pull that up. That's a mechanism in which I can improve performance, and then I'm pushing this guy up and pulling this guy up as well. Okay, so hopefully that explains the different types of training. Aerobic, walking, really slow, fat burn. Aerobic, lungs, heart development, base capacity, the foundations for all this high stuff that will improve performance. You can't improve this if you don't have the basics in place, and this is good for your heart and your lungs. This is your fitness performance. Your 30 minute, you're in round here. You go shorter into your intervals, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, even down to 30-second sprints, you're up in here. Okay, the shorter that is, the faster you're going. So we'll finish off here then in terms of predicted run times. So I get these predicted run times off this figure here. Okay, and if you're talking 5k, you're typically talking 90% to 100% of this here. This is how I calculate it. However, if this LTP figure is low, you're down, your time will be down, okay? So your time will probably be maybe 25 or 24 minutes instead of the 23:05, okay? So what I would recommend to you is, if I'm predicting 23:05 for you, but you're saying to me you're 24 or 24:30 is your time at the minute, you really need to be doing a lot of training here, okay? Or doing a lot of training here, and try and pull that figure up, because the closer we get it to here, the more accurate your 5k predicted time is going to be, okay? It's the exact same with the 10k time and your marathon time, okay? If this is down, if there's a big gap, big yellow gap, this here could be maybe 55 minutes. But if this LTP is closer to your red, then that's going to be really accurate. So your potential is there at the minute, but if it's lower, it's because this LTP figure is really low. So you got to train your hard sessions in around that, okay, and then try to pull this forward. So just to finish off in terms of training sessions, it's just to give you an idea of different colorways, okay? So if you want a recovery, you're doing a blue, you can do a blue after a yellow or a red. You want to put a good volume session in there. That's your long slow distance, so your long negatives, up and downs. Then you need to hit a hard cruise, so that their LTP or just before session, alright? And that's going to be typically 30 minutes in around that. You're going to need a rest day. Go for a walk or a nice wee spin cycle if you don't want to hurt the joints too much. But then you got to have a hard session. That has to be a really high yellow. Okay, so that has to be a high yellow, or you're in the red for your sprint endurance, 3 minutes. So maybe 5 times 3 minutes, 6 times 3 minutes, something like that there. And that's how then you push pull and finish off with an aerobic day to try to recover, or that may hit in the blue if you're really hurt. So hopefully that helps a wee bit more in terms of explaining your run test. And what I would advise is, again, the biggest thing, if you're performance-wise, you want to try to get this LTP figure up to here, closer to the MAS. If it is health and fitness, you want to be focusing on burning fat, you want to be focusing around blue and green. But always remember, if you're doing a yellow and you're going hard, please, you need to be hitting a green or a blue as a recovery session the days after. You can't go to yellow, red. You just can't do that, or your body's going to break down and you get injured. So hopefully that helps a wee bit more explain what the test is.